Gentlemen, you were talking about stats, graphs, percentages.
Numbers.
You were crunching the numbers.
Look at this graph.
Nope.
Not that.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
That's such
This is a
good video,
Nickelback
though.
free zone.
Hey, have a look at that. You were the one who mentioned it, Parks. But the Twitch has been banned out by W7M after some very impressive rounds from, I believe it was Dash on the Twitch in Consulate. Now, these special drone squad, as my co-caster Mandy loves to say, or your Twitch, your Flores, your Brava, are incredibly powerful on Chalet. And the same can go for the newest addition to the attacker lineup, Ram. In particular for hunting down pieces of utility like mirror windows, which at the moment has gone unbanned, and the Fenrir. And with the Twitch gone, you're going to be leaning on other solutions to deal with those problems.
No, you do, and the thing is, you might need to get creative, but you can't ban both the Twitch, the Bravo, the Flores, and the Ram all at once, so you kind of just gotta limit your opponent or pick your poison, so to speak, and for this case, some things will change, like the Twitch and the Dokkaebi ban, and some things will stay the same. Solos and Asami, not available in map number 1, nor here in map number 2. W7M, they love to target ban their opponents when they need to. But one thing that's pretty much always happening on their side is they almost never play with Asami open. And the thing is, if you are a quote-unquote better team, I feel like banning Asami is going to favor you because it's hard to deal with on the attacking side. And if you don't need it yourself on defense, you should ban it out every single time.
Well, it makes me wonder, how will the defense set up these power positions? Will they opt for things like mirror windows, deployable shields? Occasionally we see a castle, but with the castle in particular, you have to get very creative with your setups and make sure that it is going to help your team rather than hinder it, especially on a map like Chalet, where a lot of the basic castle barricades can very easily be dispatched with from a sledge or another soft breaching operator. The Fenrir is the king of Chalet when left unbanned, but the Brava on the attacking side is one of the only tools available to deal with it. Now, believe it or not, Los have picked off the Brava, so Felipox is going to be having the time of his life with the Fenrir.
we were us three in the van with Los on the way here. And they were playing Lose Yourself by Eminem in the shuttle over here, hyping themselves up, but I sat there in the back smiling to myself thinking, these players are playing you only get one shot. One opportunity in a lifetime. They know that they shouldn't be in this grand final. And still, they are seizing this moment. And they lost the very first map, sure enough, but they are fighting tooth and nail every single round. There's a long break between map number 1 and map number 2. I apologize for that. But the players, they are primed and they are ready. Los on the attacking side, quickly into the building now to take map control and shut down those default cameras.
Dash inside a fireplace. JB92 off of that position. He's going to go downstairs and see that the garage panel has been opened up. I don't know if he caught wind of it.
He doesn't have the read though, Parker. He thinks that the player went towards Wine to come up West Main, but actually it's quite the opposite case for Dash, who very swiftly finds his way up on the mezzanine, and Cameraman, funnily enough, uses the position of his teammate to bait JV into an opening death.
It's a good pick. On Chalet, one of the maps where having that numbers advantage is very favorable on the attacking side especially. You gotta have to break some of these hard conquerable positions. Top floor, for example, office, master bedroom, on this kitchen defense, you have to clear top floor first before going for a plant. That's why the soft construction comes out, the floor is drones, and why most of the attackers from Los are rotating upstairs after breaching that lobby wall.
KZ in a smart position right now, not too far away from Felipox as they look to hunt him down. He'll go outside, assuming that KZ will swing. A bad first map from one of the superstars of W7M, but you don't expect that to last. Now KZ looking for a second. He'll get it. Away with his life intact, but not expecting the play from Cameraman on big window. Los had an advantage. Been taken away by Herds, who's been very quiet. Mother of God, how do you contend against that? 2 kills in a row for Herds, and now Dots up next. They spot him, super shorty in hand. Herds 3 kills in a row. It's just so easy.
It looked so good until it didn't, and I have to question Los' strategical process there. You know, when you're attacking kitchen bomb site, you don't need a full clear top floor necessarily. Yeah, you need office control, open up that wall, hold them out because of the verticality needs to that dining bomb site, but you don't have to full clear. They could have arguably gone for a bomb site execute, but they thought, you know what, we can take top floor control. We have big window repel, they cut it in half, and they actually had a 2-man advantage for a short moment, but then it quickly fell apart. W7M swinging back, challenging difficult angles, difficult shots to hit, but they hit them every single time.
Yeah, I think Los had a really good read on how to play that at the start of the round, but as soon as you said, they got that numbers advantage over peaking. And even minute things like cameraman repelling on the main double window, he's a cutoff player. He shouldn't be aggressively peeking deep angles into Master, and that gave Herds an opportunity for that very cheeky one-tap that you mentioned, Parker. KZ and Herds, simply the two of them winning the round for W7M after Los had a great start, and there's not much else to say about it.
Right here. Boom.
I mean, the kill cams show it, just over-aggression from Los, and on one side, I respect the effort because after a long break like they suffered between map number 1 and map number 2, set the pace again, get into it, get your gunfights in, get your confidence up, etc. And the good thing for Los in that round is that they looked at they had tons of confidence, maybe too much. And that's what they need on Chalet, because they had to fight through every single round, especially on the attack inside. And they almost had it, but again, the late round, like you mentioned, gotta sharpen up.
Ooh. Where's Herds snuck himself into?
To the closet.
I think that's, the master closet. Now, unbeknownst to him, there is a Jackal on the other side, the perfect operator, and as a result, they will know a player has passed through Master, and he will be droned and move around. Surely not another kill from the exact same position. He found the pivotal kill last round. He will also escape with his life.
They got information that one was on that Solarium window. Now it's Lobin to die next at the hands of KZ, who's having a better game than he had on pretty much all of Consulate. Adrenal Surge to guide Maya in, but cannot get the pick over towards Library. So now, business as usual. 2 minutes to go. Only got 4 drones and several silhouettes. Right now, stare down Maya over towards Library. JV punished by dots. Maya looking for the follow-up. Cameraman closing in, but they've got all the crosses on the side of W7M. Pistol out for Maya. Gets the down on the KZ. This is winnable. It's a 2v2, but the Nitro Cell from Nade hits its mark. Dots is left alive, alone upstairs with almost half of the round still to go.
There's so much action, the Chaos, they're always fighting back and forth. Look at this, they're not done fighting yet. They take the round.
W7M off to a very good start.
Yeah, W7M played that really well, despite that very far away roam from Herds, which realistically should have been punished. Los, unfortunately, failed to confirm that kill, and in fact, they lose a player. They send Maya in very quickly to try and look for a refrag, but he was just behind the curb. 2 opportunities to get a refrag went missing for Maya in that round, and then Los decided, look, this is messy, but we just have to send it. And the brawl at Mezzanine, while it looked good for a brief moment, they had a 2 versus 1 for Leapox immediately. A C4 and an aggressive push up the blue stairs earns another round for W7M, who are looking in very solid form on their Chalet defense.
They are. And I almost want to say that it seems like W7M are looking to just shut down the aggression from Los, always contesting the opening areas of the map, Solarium, Master Bedroom, etc., trying to hide and get away with things. Vamos Los, but it hurts. Who gets that opening pick, falls back, and KC follows up shortly after, and it looked like a really one-sided round from that 5 versus 3, but Los almost brought it back again.
The thing that scares me for Los is that when things look desperate, they make objectively pretty poor plays. Cameraman, for example, jumping into Library when there's the hatch below you, C4s in abundance, a mirror window staring you down. Had he rotated, had he looked for even just a cutoff position and tried to preserve his life, Los would have had a much better chance that round.
I agree with you. The thing about Chalet is that it can be hard to figure out where you want to be at, because rotating is very possible. On Consulate, you pick a side, let's say east side, you stick to east side. You can't just rotate around, it takes too long. On Chalet, you can start on one area, go somewhere else. The map is relatively small until it's there for Los, and then they punish the run out.
It's a brazen play by Herds. The nade might be able to secure unless Herds can get away in time. He will do so. Brought back to life. 5 drones, by the way, already destroyed within the first 30 seconds of this round. So the intel game, which seemingly is a problem for Los, will not improve, at least not to this point.
And that's what Solus being banned out. So these are drones either going in too early without any follow-up, any guns behind them, or simply W7M finding those drones by other means. Nate gets the first kill onto Maya, so Lowe's off to a bad start again.
I mean, they do have the mute on the board, in all fairness.
They do.
They do. It's just a shame for Lowe's that they looked primed to get the opening kill. Herds was read to perfection. A player from Lowe's climbing up the ladder onto Flute Balcony at the same time as another player is watching for the re-aggression, and yet the killing blow was not confirmed. Dots though, he sneaks inside and he does take down one power position. That is the dining pressure. However, not fully alleviated as of yet. Herds at large on the top floor in tandem with KZ. Two star players for this roster. The nade once again goes begging for Los, and they realize now that there are a few players on the site, and so they will transition their push directly.
Oh, you got 3 players ready to hit back of wine. This is perfect. Loban running in, nearsighted, expecting a play over towards connector, but look at this. A red angle from JV92, getting one, trying for the other, side on, cannot pull it off. Dots instead gets away with a single point of HP, and will now attempt it for a second time. Herds removing dash. Dots does not have the go to get that diffuser down, and now with his coverage gone, this is a tough spot to be in. Herds and KZ need to work together to find the Hibana holding this angle. W7M have the clock on their side. Don't need to swing if they don't want. No. Dots thought he could tiptoe away, but KZ was prepared and ready for it. Chalet, 3-0 for W7M.
I love the off-pace play out of nowhere. Walls weren't open up. They just opened the door, ran through the barbed wire, through the Fenrir gadget, couldn't even see anything. And Lobin got pretty deep in towards the bomb side, and even Trato favors defense more often than not. And this right here is a tactical timeout I'm a huge fan of. You're down in numbers, you're down 0-3, you call a timeout, and now, before things get too out of hand, you can talk things through. The nerves, the strategy, and when you're playing like Maya or Lopin, who are used to having incredible games, finding kill after kill and clutch after clutch, opening after opening, and you're having a pretty subpar game for your own standard, your teammates are very important because they can react in one of 2 ways. You're gonna point out and be like, hey, not having a good game today, are we? I'll say, guys, you got this. Next round, don't worry. Next round, you got it. I've been there myself. When I was up against Font, up against Cameraman, on Border, I had 1 kill to my name going the distance. My teammate said, you got this next round. You got this next round. Fun fact, I didn't. But map number 2 comes around, right? We got Oregon. I broke the world record at the time, back then, with 23 kills. So your teammates believing you, saying, you know, don't worry about this, man. There's always another one. It's so important because Love and Maya, they haven't found comfortable ground yet, but they need to turn this around.
Confidence is not just powerful, confidence is overpowered.
Yeah.
Overconfidence is still overpowered. If you think you are better than you are, then believe that.
Yeah.
And go for it. Because even when you're at a numbers deficit, even if you've died opening kills several times in a row, even if you're kicking yourself because you managed to down Herds on an aggressive spawn peak, but you couldn't finish him because you hit your adrenal surge too fast, doesn't matter. Put that out of your mind.
Yeah.
Do not critique. Do not judge. In the moment, all you can do is believe that next time you will land that kill.
I mean, obviously, we just want to look at the timing of that timeout, too. T's in there, I apologize. Los called their timeout in what would ultimately be the second last round of the very first map. They had confidence that they could come back. They lack that confidence now. Get it out of the way early on. The only problem with calling it this early, which I suppose is not a problem that is new, is that if they continue to lose, there's nothing they can do. But at that point, you've already called your timeout. You've tried your best to stop the bleeding, and it has not worked out. The Monty pick will come in from Los. That's a good choice. When you see a timeout and a shield gets brought, you know that there's a very specific idea in mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the one thing I always want to see after technical timeout is big operator changes. Loban with a drone, box hunting in hand, might be looking for a quick play inside of West Main, maybe looking for a pick or an entry, but all eyes will be in the Monty here to see where he goes first.
I like this a lot for Loban. The perfect operator to play this window because he can create those angles looking to the right of West Main towards the dining door. Not many operators are able to actually create that line of sight. I'm curious about this buck pick though. Also very curious to see a Monte moving in. Caught out
like this.
Philippox in a 1 versus 1 with this Monty, and he has a C4, the perfect ingredient for the job. 2 players fall for Los as Dash desperately darts around a corner, but Philippox has got his number. Maya falls as well. It's all up to the oldest player in the server, but he will not stave off defeat. A flawless round for the Bulls.
How could that possibly have gone worse? You call your timeout, you bring tools for the job, you barely make it into the map before you are sent to the next round.
You pick up the Monty, you go for that West main play, they had 2 drones in there, we saw the silhouettes, and surely they look up towards the ceiling and go, hey, there are some soft destruction in the floor, be careful of what's above you. But Dodge jumps in, gets shut down immediately. Lack of, I don't know, focus, lack of respect to the setup. Small mistakes with massive impact and consequence.
I will say, what is the macro of that push to begin with? This is a master bedroom attack, and you're sending your Montaigne in through West main windows with your buck outside. I really just don't understand. They're trying to hunt these guys in dining, which, by the way, was only 1 player. But the typical way to do that is by pressuring in from, firstly, the trophy window, and also from the rest of the map by taking library, taking lobby, maybe having a lurk from up West main. But they just didn't have the ingredients for that.
Yeah, I mean, W7M had those kill holes in the floor of bathroom, looking down into West main. The moment that the Monty got in the window, W7M was prepared for it. They started tearing through those players of Los, which is what enabled Nate in that position of Kitchen to start doing some serious work. So even if your goal was, let's get in and hunt the roamers, you still got to worry about the players on the actual site attacking your roam hunters. It was very well done by W7M.
What we typically want to see on Chalet is that good old hammer and angle strategy where one side is going to push and then eventually you're going to hit the wall, and that's when that, the hammer literally meets the anvil, goes boom. Right now, those are pushing from one side, but there's no wall, there's no anvil on the map, so you're going nowhere. You're just shoveling W7M either back towards the bomb side, or you lose those gunfights and then nothing happens at all. They had a player last round on the main lobby door holding a rotation, but no one's going to go in that direction because they're going to go up towards the solarium stairs if anywhere else. So strategical misplays from Los here, and they got to change that around.
Looks like information is the big issue, James, but maybe not this round as Los gets 2 to strike first. The best start to a round so far from Los, and it continues to improve. A flawless end of the previous round could be met with the same result this time, just for the opposite team.
Do not give 1v1s, Los. This is where you lock in the round by playing off each other. There are plenty of drones on the board to find Philippox's position, and he is quite a clutch player. Moving forward, that nade very close. He spots one. Dots goes down. Lopen looking for the reply, but the flawless round is confirmed. Los finally on the scoreboard here on Chalet.
We did a lot of damage from that position, but the round was already lost at that point. I mean, at best, you're playing for a couple unimpactful kills. Maybe against weaker opposition, that can be pulled off. But Los has shown throughout this entire event they are not a team that you can take for granted, and that round in particular, even though they did have 5 players to 1, they still played it about as perfectly as you could.
It did. And again, it comes down to that, guys, we got this. Next round, we got it. Next round, next scenario, next time. You say that enough times, you push through it, and all of a sudden, it looked like they were just getting slaughtered every single round, and they win it flawlessly. But the thing is, we gotta talk about the attack inside here. 1-4 in Chalet, starting attack, what has historically been the favorite side for a very long time. It's not looking too good. You really want the 2-4. Allow yourself some wiggle room on the defensive side, because it's not gonna get much easier than this.
That's right. You were talking about how to attack on Chalet before, Pengu, and the hammer and anvil. Really, on this map, the anvil is as strong, if not stronger than the hammer, and we've seen that in certain rounds, particularly where Cameraman is finding opening picks, because he is that anvil. He is the flank watch player, repelling on a window or covering off a position as the rest of Los look to force W7M into those rotations and exposing themselves to Cameraman. That's great and all, but as you said, this is one of only 2 attacker-sided maps in the pool. And Los are down already, losing the half.
Complete opposite of Consulate, right?
That's right.
Very defender-sided map, the most played map. Attackers of W7M won the first half. Now you come to Chalet, and it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, in fact, Chalet, it's 52% attacker win rate, so it's not huge of a discrepancy, but as far as...
map.
Yeah, well, compared to most maps at the moment, it is very much an attacker-favored affair. You can come back from a 2-4 deficit. This is not Chalet, but it's a very different affair, especially when you're losing opening picks. Herds has been on fire! A double for him, yet again! The opening menace for W7M. Dot's desperate to duel him, to best him, to put him down, but Herds can simply slink back into darkness.
And he finds Lobin and Maya again. We talk about star players. They're not really showing up here. 2-5, 2-5. Captain Trap goes also as well. So much damage being given here to Lowe's side from guns and utility. I mean, statistically, they're locked out of this one. They gotta find some incredible kills out of nowhere to win this round.
Well read by cameraman as he knew there was a body crossing, but jumps on in. JV92 with aerial support. KZ, the lone player from W7M, out of this round. But KZ's having a terrific game. No way. That's...
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, did you order the Herd special? It's same-day delivery. 5-1 first half for W7M.
Yeah, W7M are taking no prisoners. On the unfavored side, they dominate in the first half. And this has got to be one of the most one-sided grand finals we have seen in a long time. Los need to fire up.
You said they were undefeated on Chalet, Dev. For Los, that is. And I told you, well, they've never played W7M on it. So this is a scenario, they're down 1-5.
We have a fan calling in now to
really?
speak about this match, yes. So let's bring them on. You have a question?
I need all the Los fans in the crowd right now to stand up and start chanting, "Let's go Los! Let's 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 go
He is right behind us, and even without the microphone, he is tremendously loud.
I thought he had a question. He made a statement.
I mean, sometimes it's both, right? I mean, maybe it's a question. Let's go, Los. I don't know.
If ever I wonder which continent I'm on, I will be reminded that I am indeed in North America when the chant is "Let's go Los."
All right, you know what?
Let's go X-Team.
Enough about the NA crowd. Maybe if the other regions were popular enough, they'd get their own finals. James, huh?
Thanks, man. Maybe one day a man can dream. But you cannot deny the passion here from the fans in America, rooting for the underdog team. And now Los need to make good on the promise made by their passionate fans.
Oh.
Finn came at a good time as well. We saw the player cams from Los when they lost that previous round. They did not look all that happy. Quite mentally distraught, to be honest. I feel them. Nothing's working out. The fast is working, the slow doesn't work in this. I mean, they're hitting the bomb site, they're close to it, but it's Philippox. It's W7M now on the attacking side. Los don't want this.
Oh, but Los is on the board first. KZ, magnificent on Chalet. Down for the count. That's okay, you've only got Herds to deal with, but a second now on the board for Los. Maybe the crowd imbued them with some energy. The two top fraggers from W7M are no more. Still utility there for W7M, and as we've seen, you can never count this W7M team out of a round.
You never can. Especially when you're getting on the board. Nate finds one, so that number is a bit closer. Still in favor of Los, of course. They're looking for the flank. Meanwhile, W7M, they're looking for the side, they're looking for the verticality, but they don't got the block any longer, so they can't break out the floor apart.
I do love how careful W7M are being in this numbers disadvantage. They do not want to let re-aggression from Los cost them another player. But Los as well are playing a little bit scared. Dash looks to lock out that player. It's Philippox. He snuck his way very early in the round into Trophy using his Sen's gadget to try and create a light screen to barrier any potential lines of sight, disrupting him. He still has two left in pocket for the execute. And in a 3v4, realistically, W7M, they need a few picks. Now they've got the info. Do not overpeak here, Los. You have the advantage. You do not need to give W7M a way back in.
Will the birthday boy be rewarded? No, it does not appear so. So Philippe Hawks will need to go elsewhere. Still has two of those roly-poly gadgets. I do appreciate that we don't have an official name for it that we use because, well, it's quite long.
Well, here's Dots.
Numbers right now favoring Los. 7 players still in the server, but all 3 members of W7M are tossed by the wayside the span of a second. Los get their second round.
And they get the first one they have. That's very important. Build up that momentum slowly but surely, and with the crowd behind them, it might just be possible.
Chalet, very much an attacker-sided map, but Los need to prove us different here. They need to prove that the first half, it just took them a little bit to warm up to it. And we saw a similar case in Consulate as well, Pengu. By the time that Los finished that map, they had some pretty good attacks. But at the start of the game, it took them quite a bit of time to find their feet. I've got to wonder as well, we had an elongated break between map 1 and map 2. Perhaps that will affect their momentum because it took them a while to get started. Once they had a flying lap, they continued building that speed and setting faster times. But in map 2, it feels like the same story is repeating itself.
I was going to say, as a former player myself, when you lose a map in a best of 3 or best of 5, if you end up with that map loss, kind of like on the next negative side where you get in your own head, the longer you can sit with that for, the worse it gets, right? You want to go into the next map as quickly as possible, just get going, get flying. They had like, what, half an hour to sit there being like, oh, we lost, that sucked. We played bad, that sucked, etc. So sometimes, I find myself, at least as a former player, you need motivation from someone else when you feel down, because you can't be your own, positive guy in life in general. We all know that at times. Yeah. When I played, I had Fabian. He was that voice in my head saying, we got this, don't give up, etc. But I don't know how Los to deal with that. If that's cameraman, for example, but I will say, if they don't have a player in the communication bit for them, the crowd could be that person.
Well, for cameraman, we saw earlier, he's got a tattoo on his arm, play to win, not to fail. He knows what it means to raise that trophy, and he will lead these younglings into doing so again.
Both smokes were used so early on from the thermite of Nade, by the way. Leaves you with no obscurement when it comes to the bomb site. Herds following up on the drone work going on in. Loban dies to a grenade. W7M, within the span of a minute, has torn through 2 players from Los.
You know what they did? A fake execute. Smoke the bomb site, forcing movement from the roamers, and then they execute upstairs anyway. They're looking downstairs, but the attack comes horizontally. It's a great bait and switch play from W7M.
You've still got the ram in play as well of Philippe Hawks. These boogie drones will tear away at the floor and cause some serious issues for these defenders. A nitro cell goes off. Philippe Hawks living for now. One roamer that you said was supposed to be pushed off was over towards dining. Goodbye to Maya, who retreated upstairs. Dash miles away from the site. We're at the halfway point of the round, and W7M are up 5v2. Another flawless round could be had unless Dash can muster something. Diffuser in the hands of Nade. Dash knows there's one by Blue. KZ finished off. It won't be done flawlessly, but Dash revealing his position, and 3 players from W7M fight over who gets that final pick. Map point for W7M.
Hertz has been so good on the entry for W7M. This guy on your screen right now, he has been a stone-cold killer. He's coming into his form as one of the best players on the best team in the world. And the way that he found that opening pick, as you mentioned, Pengu, a fake smoke thrown onto the bomb site to make it look like it was a rush from W7M. Elsewhere, Hertz is supported by a drone, quickly live droned into library, finds the opening pick. A second is found by KZ's nade. 5v3, only a little bit over a minute has passed in the round. What did W7M do? Do they double down? No, they sit back. They wait. They know that Los are going to get desperate. They know the only way for Los to get back into that round is by making aggressive plays. And so every single kill after that was from an aggressive, unnecessary play like this from Maya. He thought he had to make a move, and he was punished for it.
That's the thing, they play on so many different levels, W7 that is. They understand the strategical depth that every single map has to offer, but also speaking of Hertz, he's one of the star players in the killing, opening kills, entry, etc. He's also one of the IGLs for his team, so he's likely saying, guys, I got this idea, right? Drone me in library, as you smoke the bomb site itself, they're gonna look away, I'll get those kills. I bet you he sets up that play himself, realizing the possible gap that could be found from those because they're so angsty around the bomb site. Oh, they're rushing, everybody get back quickly! But they didn't. So they're kind of mind-gaming each other now, and when you're up 6-2, you can afford to take a risk because if you lose a round, it's not the end of the world, whereas for Lowe's, it would literally be you going down 0-2.
Oh.
Well, it continues for Herds, who's broken a dozen kills so far on this map. Philippak's in as well. Same predicament of the previous round, boys.
Yeah.
30 seconds off the clock, and Lowe's are just getting sent home. Loban with 1 kill, looking for another. JV92 pivots and says, that's quite enough. That map is over before it even started. Good Lord, W7M 7-2 to go up 2-0.
There's no doubt about this team. They do what nobody else can do in Rainbow Six. Their brand of this game is completely untouchable. Even in a grand final, they take no prisoners. They do not hesitate.